Imagine waking up every day with a clear sense of purpose, unshaken by setbacks, untouched by the chaos around you, and relentlessly focused on what truly matters. Imagine facing life's challenges with calmness and resilience, knowing that your inner strength will carry you through. This may sound almost superhuman, but it was the everyday reality for one of the greatest figures in ancient history, Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and a Stoic philosopher. His writings, collected in Meditations, offer timeless advice on mastering self-discipline through Stoicism. In today's world, we are bombarded with distractions and fleeting gratifications that pull us away from our goals. But what if I told you that by embracing the principles of Stoicism, you could transform your life? You could gain the self-discipline to not only endure life's hardships, but to thrive amidst them. This video will guide you through 10 Stoic principles that will empower you to master self-discipline, helping you find purpose, resilience, and inner peace. Stay with us, and by the end of this journey, you'll be equipped with tools that will elevate your mindset, increase your productivity, and help you live with greater intentionality. 1. Self-discipline begins with purpose. What drives you at your core? What motivates you to get out of bed each morning and face the day's challenges? In Stoicism, the answer to these questions is crucial, as self-discipline starts with having a clear sense of purpose. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the idea of living in agreement with nature, meaning understanding your role in the world and acting in harmony with your virtues. But what does this mean in practical terms for you and me? Your purpose doesn't have to be a grand or lofty ideal. It could be the small, consistent actions that you perform each day. Aurelius believed that understanding one's purpose is like having a compass. Without it, you're easily swayed by distractions or temptations. Purpose gives meaning to your actions and helps you stay focused, even when life becomes difficult. But how do you discover this purpose? Stoicism teaches us to look beyond superficial desires and fleeting emotions to uncover what is truly essential for our well-being and growth. The modern world is filled with choices and distractions that often pull us away from our true paths. We need to peel back the layers of distractions and ask ourselves, what is truly worth my time and energy? What tasks align with my values? Finding your purpose is not about chasing after external rewards or recognition. Rather, it's about fulfilling the duties that life has laid out for you and performing each task with commitment and integrity. Reflect on the things that bring you deep satisfaction or the challenges you feel motivated to solve. These are clues to your purpose. In Stoicism, purpose is tied to the virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation. How can your actions today contribute to the greater good and to your personal development? This isn't just about achieving success. It's about finding meaning in every step you take. Marcus Aurelius urged himself every morning to ask, "What am I meant to do today?" This question anchored his actions and gave him the discipline to move forward, even in the face of immense pressures as an emperor. How can you apply this principle in your life? Start by identifying what gives your life meaning and use that to guide your daily decisions. As you move through your day, be mindful of the choices you make and ask yourself whether they are in service of your greater purpose. Each evening, reflect on whether you have lived true to that purpose. By doing this, you cultivate the self-discipline to stay on course, even when distractions arise. This practice of daily reflection and alignment with purpose will transform not only your sense of discipline, but also your entire approach to life. Now that we've uncovered the importance of purpose, let's move on to the next key Stoic principle that will fortify your inner strength: counting on yourself. 2. Count on yourself, the power of self-reliance. In Stoicism, one of the most empowering ideas is the concept of self-reliance. Marcus Aurelius repeatedly reminds himself, and us, that we must count on ourselves. But what does that mean? And how can it help us build the self-discipline we need in a world full of uncertainties? First, consider this. How often do you find yourself relying on external factors to determine your happiness or success? Do you look to others for validation? Or perhaps blame circumstances when things don't go as planned? In Stoicism, relying on anything outside of your control is a recipe for disappointment and frustration. Instead, we are taught to focus on what we can control, our own actions, reactions, and judgments. To count on yourself is not about isolating yourself from others or rejecting help. It's about recognizing that, ultimately, the responsibility for your actions and personal growth rests within you. Marcus Aurelius believed that we should rely on our own reason and virtues to navigate life's challenges. When you count on yourself, you are trusting in your own ability to make the right choices, even when the path ahead is uncertain. But how do you cultivate this kind of self-reliance? It starts with developing a deep sense of personal accountability. Instead of blaming external events or other people for your circumstances, ask yourself, how can I take ownership of this situation? This shift in mindset empowers you to face challenges head-on, without feeling helpless or dependent on others for a solution. Marcus Aurelius emphasized the importance of focusing on what is within your control. This aligns with one of the core tenets of Stoicism. You cannot control external events, but you can control how you respond to them. When you count on yourself, you build resilience because you no longer waste energy on things you cannot change. This mental clarity allows you to concentrate on what truly matters: your actions, your thoughts, and your personal growth. Building self-reliance also means setting personal goals and taking consistent steps toward them without depending on others to push you forward. Think about it. How often do you wait for external motivation, validation, or the perfect conditions before taking action? Stoicism teaches us that the perfect moment may never come. Instead, you must create your own momentum by relying on your inner strength. For example, imagine you have a goal to improve your health or learn a new skill. Counting on yourself means making a plan, sticking to it, and holding yourself accountable, whether or not anyone is watching. The discipline to keep going, even when things get tough, comes from within. Marcus Aurelius himself faced enormous pressure as emperor, yet he constantly reminded himself to rely on his virtues of courage, wisdom, and justice to guide his decisions. By counting on yourself, you also free yourself from the constant need for approval from others. How often have you hesitated to act because you feared judgment or criticism? Stoicism encourages us to trust in our own reason and judgment rather than seeking validation from external sources. Ask yourself, are my actions aligned with my values? Am I acting with integrity? If the answer is yes, then you have everything you need to move forward with confidence. The more you practice self-reliance, the more disciplined and resilient you become. You begin to trust yourself more, and that trust translates into action. You develop the courage to take risks, the patience to endure setbacks, and the wisdom to make sound decisions, all of which are key elements of Stoicism. Now that we understand the importance of counting on yourself, how can we maintain this discipline day in and day out? The answer lies in the next Stoic principle, the power of showing up every day. 3. Show up every day. The quiet power of consistency. Self-discipline is not built in a single heroic act of willpower. It is forged in the quiet, consistent practice of showing up every single day. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. He knew that greatness doesn't come from occasional bursts of effort, but from the steady, persistent work we do daily. Ask yourself, how often do you feel motivated one day, only to lose momentum the next? How often do you set goals, only to abandon them after the initial excitement fades? In Stoicism, we are reminded that discipline is about showing up, not just when we feel like it, but especially when we don't. This is where true growth happens. Marcus Aurelius believed that each day presented an opportunity to live in accordance with nature, to fulfill our duties, and to act with integrity. He didn't view each day's tasks as a burden, but as a chance to exercise his virtues. For him, showing up wasn't just about doing the work. It was about embodying the Stoic ideals of courage, wisdom, and justice in everything he did, no matter how small or routine the task seemed. But how do we cultivate the discipline to show up every day, especially when distractions and temptations are all around us? One answer lies in setting small, achievable goals. Rather than overwhelming yourself with grand, impossible tasks, break them down into manageable steps. It's not the intensity of your efforts that matters, but the regularity with which you take action. Consider this. Can you commit to doing one thing today, even if it's small, that brings you closer to your goal? Can you show up for just 5 minutes, even if it feels insignificant? This practice of showing up daily, no matter how small the action, builds momentum over time. Each day that you meet your commitment, you reinforce your self-discipline and strengthen your willpower. Think about the power of compounding. A small action taken every day may not seem like much, but over time, it creates enormous progress. Marcus Aurelius understood that discipline wasn't about grand gestures, but about the accumulation of small, deliberate acts. He reminded himself daily to show up fully, both in body and spirit, to do the work that was required of him. In our modern world, filled with distractions and fleeting motivations, the ability to show up consistently is more important than ever. We often get caught up in the idea of doing something perfectly or waiting for the perfect moment. But Stoicism teaches us that there is no perfect moment. There is only now. And now is the time to act, even if it's imperfect or incomplete. If you're finding it hard to stay motivated, remind yourself of the Stoic teaching that you cannot control outcomes, but you can control your efforts. You may not see immediate results, and that's okay. What matters is that you continue to show up and do the work. This is where true discipline lies. Before we move on, I'd like to encourage you to stay with us through the rest of this video. Each principle builds on the last, and by the end, you will have a complete framework for mastering self-discipline, rooted in the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. At this point, you may be wondering how to maintain this level of discipline over the long term. How do you keep showing up when life becomes difficult or overwhelming? This is where Stoicism gives us another powerful tool: voluntary hardship. 4. Practice voluntary hardship. Embrace discomfort to build strength. In Stoicism, voluntary hardship is one of the most powerful practices for building resilience and self-discipline. It is about deliberately stepping into discomfort to prepare yourself for the inevitable challenges that life will throw at you. Marcus Aurelius, like many Stoic philosophers, believed that by voluntarily embracing discomfort, we could train our minds to remain strong and composed in the face of adversity. Ask yourself, how often do you seek comfort and avoid discomfort at all costs? Do you find yourself retreating when things get difficult, or when you face even minor inconveniences? In Stoicism, this constant pursuit of comfort is seen as a weakness. True strength comes from our ability to endure and even embrace discomfort. But why would anyone willingly seek hardship? The Stoics understood that life is unpredictable. Adversity will come, whether we like it or not. By practicing voluntary hardship, we prepare ourselves mentally and physically for the tough times ahead. This could mean forgoing certain luxuries, enduring physical challenges, or practicing self-denial in small, everyday decisions. When we train ourselves to handle discomfort, we are less likely to be thrown off balance when life forces discomfort upon us. Consider this. What small hardships can you introduce into your daily routine? Perhaps it's something as simple as taking cold showers, fasting intermittently, or waking up earlier than usual. These voluntary acts of discomfort serve as training for your mind. You learn to resist the immediate desire for comfort and, in turn, build mental resilience. Moreover, voluntary hardship cultivates gratitude. When you occasionally live without certain comforts, you begin to appreciate them more deeply. For instance, skipping a meal may make you more mindful of the abundance of food you usually have. Walking instead of driving can make you more grateful for mobility and health. Stoicism teaches us that gratitude comes not from having more, but from recognizing the value of what we already have. But voluntary hardship goes beyond physical discomfort. It also involves training your mind to handle emotional challenges with grace. For example, practicing patience in frustrating situations or refraining from reacting impulsively to negative comments can be forms of voluntary hardship. By consciously choosing to endure these small emotional discomforts, you train yourself to remain calm and composed in the face of more significant challenges. When we voluntarily choose discomfort, we expand our mental and emotional boundaries. We learn that we are capable of more than we think, and this realization strengthens our self-discipline. Marcus Aurelius believed that enduring voluntary hardship not only builds character, but also deepens our appreciation for life itself. As you begin to incorporate voluntary hardship into your life, remember that it's not about punishing yourself. It's about shifting your perspective from seeing comfort as a necessity to viewing it as a luxury that you can live without. This mindset shift is what fortifies your resilience and prepares you for life's inevitable hardships. Now that we've explored the practice of voluntary hardship, let's turn to one of the most liberating concepts in Stoicism, the dichotomy of control. 5. Practice the dichotomy of control. Focus on what you can control. One of the most transformative principles of Stoicism is the dichotomy of control. This simple yet profound idea has the power to radically shift how we approach life's challenges. In essence, the dichotomy of control teaches us to focus on what we can control and to let go of what we cannot. But how often do we truly live by this principle? Take a moment to reflect. How much time do you spend worrying about things outside your control? Whether it's the opinions of others, the outcome of a project, or global events beyond your influence, we often waste precious energy on things we cannot change. Stoicism, and particularly Marcus Aurelius, remind us that this is not only futile, but also harmful to our peace of mind. So, what exactly is within our control? According to Stoicism, it's primarily our own actions, reactions, thoughts, and judgments. Everything external, be it other people's behavior, the weather, or even our own past, is outside our control. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about this distinction in Meditations, noting that becoming upset by things outside our control is not only irrational, but also a distraction from living in accordance with nature. Imagine how liberating it would be if you could fully embrace this principle. How much mental clarity would you gain if you stopped stressing over things you cannot change? This is the freedom that Stoicism offers, the ability to focus all your energy on what truly matters, your thoughts, actions, and personal growth, while letting go of everything else. But applying the dichotomy of control isn't always easy. We live in a world where we are constantly bombarded by information, opinions, and external pressures. How do we stay focused on what we can control amidst all the noise? One practical way is to pause and ask yourself, is this within my control? Before reacting to any situation. If the answer is no, then let it go. This doesn't mean being passive or indifferent to the world around you. It means accepting that while you can influence some things, you cannot control the outcome. For example, you may work hard on a project, but you cannot control how others will respond to it. You can control your effort, your preparation, and your response to feedback, but not the final result. By embracing this mindset, you reduce anxiety and frustration, allowing yourself to focus on what you can control: your virtues, your effort, and your integrity. This is the essence of Stoic wisdom. Consider how this principle applies to your own life. Are there areas where you are expending energy on things outside your control? How might your mindset shift if you redirected that energy toward what you can influence? Marcus Aurelius believed that peace of mind comes from accepting this dichotomy and focusing on what lies within our power. By doing so, we can maintain our tranquility and effectiveness, even in the face of life's inevitable uncertainties. In daily life, this principle also helps us set realistic goals. While we strive for success, Stoicism teaches us to detach our happiness from external outcomes. Instead, we find satisfaction in the pursuit itself, in living according to our values, and in the effort we put forth. By doing so, we create a sense of fulfillment that isn't tied to things beyond our control. Now that we've explored this powerful concept, let me ask, how do you handle situations that are out of your hands? Do you find yourself getting caught up in frustration, or are you able to maintain your composure? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Stoicism thrives on reflection and discussion, and your insights can help others on this journey. Next, let's dive into another crucial Stoic principle that will empower you to build resilience and maintain your inner peace: never playing the victim. 6. Never play the victim. Take ownership of your life. One of the most empowering lessons in Stoicism is the rejection of the victim mentality. Marcus Aurelius believed that regardless of what life throws at us, we always have a choice in how we respond. Stoicism teaches us to take full responsibility for our emotions, actions, and decisions, no matter how difficult our circumstances may be. But are we truly doing this in our daily lives? Think about it. How often do you find yourself blaming external factors for your frustrations or unhappiness? Whether it's difficult people, bad luck, or unfair situations, it's easy to fall into the trap of seeing yourself as a passive recipient of life's hardships. But Stoicism teaches us a different way. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" the Stoic asks, "How can I respond to this in a way that aligns with my values?" Playing the victim is seductive because it offers an easy escape from responsibility. It allows us to deflect accountability and place the blame elsewhere. But in doing so, we give away our power. Stoicism encourages us to reclaim that power by recognizing that while we may not control external events, we do control how we perceive and react to them. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that external events are neutral. It is our interpretation of them that causes us distress. He wrote, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." This Stoic mindset empowers us to take control of our perceptions, allowing us to rise above the situation and act with wisdom and integrity. Let's take a real-life example. Imagine a situation where you've been unfairly criticized at work. The immediate reaction might be to feel hurt, angry, or defensive. You might even blame the person who criticized you or the circumstances that led to it. But how does this response serve you? Does it bring you closer to resolving the situation? Or does it only deepen your frustration? Now, consider how a Stoic would approach the same situation. Instead of focusing on the perceived injustice, the Stoic would ask, "What part of this is within my control?" In this case, you can't control the criticism or the person who delivered it, but you can control your response. You can choose to view the criticism as feedback, use it as an opportunity for growth, or simply let it go if it's not constructive. By refusing to play the victim, you maintain your composure, protect your peace of mind, and act in alignment with your values. But this practice goes beyond handling criticism. It applies to all areas of life where we might feel powerless or overwhelmed. Whether it's dealing with personal setbacks, financial difficulties, or even health issues, Stoicism reminds us that we are never truly powerless. We may not control what happens to us, but we always control how we respond. This mindset shift is what gives us the strength to face adversity with resilience and dignity. Ask yourself, in what areas of your life do you tend to fall into a victim mentality? How might your outlook change if you took full ownership of your emotions and responses? By refusing to play the victim, you not only build self-discipline, but also reclaim control over your life. As you continue to practice this Stoic principle, you'll find that your sense of personal empowerment grows. You'll begin to see obstacles not as roadblocks, but as opportunities to practice virtue. Each challenge becomes a test of your resilience, patience, and wisdom, qualities that define the Stoic ideal. Now let's explore how we can take this idea even further by mastering the art of delayed gratification, a key element in the Stoic pursuit of self-discipline. 7. Practice delayed gratification. Choose long-term fulfillment over immediate pleasure. In the modern world, where instant gratification is available at the click of a button, the Stoic practice of delayed gratification stands out as a vital discipline for those seeking a life of meaning and virtue. Marcus Aurelius and other Stoic philosophers believed that true freedom comes not from indulging in every desire, but from mastering our impulses and prioritizing long-term fulfillment over short-term pleasure. But how often do we truly exercise this control over our desires? Consider this. How often do you find yourself opting for quick rewards, even when they don't align with your larger goals? Whether it's reaching for unhealthy snacks, procrastinating on important tasks, or spending money impulsively, the temptation for instant gratification is all around us. Stoicism teaches us that while these short-term pleasures may bring momentary satisfaction, they often pull us away from our higher purpose. Delayed gratification, in the Stoic sense, isn't about denying yourself pleasure altogether. It's about making choices that lead to deeper, more lasting fulfillment. Marcus Aurelius understood that being a slave to one's desires weakens self-discipline and erodes personal freedom. He believed that by exercising restraint and delaying gratification, we gain control over our actions and, in turn, our lives. But how do we develop this kind of self-mastery? It starts with cultivating awareness of our impulses and learning to pause before acting on them. The next time you feel the pull of instant gratification, ask yourself, is this action aligned with my long-term goals and values? Will this bring me lasting fulfillment, or is it a fleeting desire? For example, imagine you're tempted to skip your workout and watch TV instead. The immediate gratification of relaxation may feel appealing, but how will you feel afterward? Contrast that with the sense of accomplishment and well-being you'll experience after completing the workout. By practicing delayed gratification, you build the discipline to choose the actions that serve your long-term well-being. In today's culture of instant everything, the ability to delay gratification is a rare and valuable skill. Stoicism teaches us that this practice not only strengthens our self-discipline, but also enhances our overall satisfaction in life. By choosing long-term fulfillment over immediate pleasure, we align our actions with our higher purpose and cultivate a life of virtue. Research even supports this Stoic principle. Studies in psychology have shown that people who are able to delay gratification tend to have better health, more success in their careers, and greater emotional resilience. This is because the practice of restraint helps us develop patience, focus, and the ability to persevere in the face of challenges, all qualities central to Stoicism. As you begin to practice delayed gratification in your own life, start small. It could be as simple as saving money instead of spending it impulsively, choosing a healthy meal over fast food, or dedicating time to learning a new skill instead of scrolling through social media. Each time you resist the pull of instant gratification, you strengthen your willpower and reinforce your commitment to personal growth. Now that we've explored the importance of delayed gratification, let's shift our focus to another key Stoic principle that will help you stay on course in the face of criticism and doubt: ignoring naysayers. 8. Ignore naysayers. Focus on your own path. In a world where everyone seems to have an opinion, one of the greatest challenges we face is learning to tune out the noise. The Stoics understood that the approval or disapproval of others is outside our control and therefore not something we should depend on for personal validation. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about the importance of focusing only on actions and judgments within our own control. But how often do we let the opinions of others influence our actions? Think about this. How much time and energy do you spend worrying about what others think? Whether it's a casual remark, a social media comment, or a more direct critique, we often let external opinions shape our decisions and affect our peace of mind. Stoicism offers a liberating solution. Ignore the naysayers. Focus on your own path and trust in your own reason and virtue. This isn't about becoming indifferent to others or ignoring constructive feedback. Stoicism teaches us to discern the difference between valuable input and baseless criticism. Marcus Aurelius encouraged us to evaluate the source of criticism. Is it coming from someone with wisdom or experience? Is the feedback intended to help or hinder you? If the answer is no, then it's simply noise, an external factor that should not influence your internal state. Ask yourself, how often do you allow negative comments to derail your focus? Do you adjust your actions to please others, even when their opinions conflict with your values? Stoicism reminds us that the only opinion that truly matters is our own, specifically whether we are acting in accordance with our virtues and principles. As long as you are guided by reason, wisdom, and integrity, the judgments of others should hold no sway over your path. By ignoring naysayers, you strengthen your inner resilience and focus on what truly matters, your own development and goals. In fact, Marcus Aurelius frequently reflected on the fleeting nature of human opinion. He recognized that most criticisms are driven by others' own insecurities, biases, or misunderstandings, rather than an accurate assessment of your character or actions. Once you understand this, the negative opinions of others lose their power. But how do we practically apply this Stoic principle in a world that constantly demands our attention and approval? It starts with cultivating an internal locus of control. This means placing your self-worth in your own hands, rather than allowing it to be dictated by external factors. When you find yourself affected by criticism, pause and ask, does this criticism align with my values? Is it based on a genuine effort to help me grow, or is it merely noise? The more you practice this mental filter, the more resilient you become. You'll find that the opinions of others lose their grip on you, and you'll be able to stay focused on your goals without being distracted by negativity. This doesn't mean you'll never face doubt or self-criticism. It means that you'll develop the strength to push forward even when others doubt you. Another way to strengthen this practice is by reflecting on your own values and purpose regularly. Marcus Aurelius often asked himself whether his actions were aligned with his personal virtues. By maintaining a clear sense of purpose, you can more easily resist the pull of external judgments. When you are deeply grounded in your own values, the opinions of others become background noise rather than a source of disruption. At this point, you might be wondering, how do I handle naysayers in my life? How do I maintain focus on my goals when others are quick to criticize or doubt me? Feel free to share your experiences in the comments. Discussing these challenges can help others on their Stoic journey as well. And together, we can learn how to better apply this principle. Now that we've explored how to ignore naysayers and stay true to your values, let's shift our focus to one of the most important Stoic practices for personal growth: Finding wise people to emulate. 9. Find wise people to emulate. Learn from the best. In Stoicism, one of the key paths to personal growth and self-discipline is emulation. Marcus Aurelius himself often reflected on the virtues of those he admired, using their lives as a guide to improve his own character. But who should we look up to, and what can we learn from them? How can emulating wise individuals help us develop self-discipline? In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the sheer number of role models presented to us. From social media influencers to celebrities, we are constantly bombarded with images of success. But Stoicism teaches us to choose our role models carefully, focusing on those who embody the virtues we aspire to: wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation. Who are the wise people in your life? Who do you look up to, and why? Marcus Aurelius believed that wisdom was not just theoretical knowledge, but practical guidance for living well. When we find individuals who have mastered the art of living in accordance with virtue, we gain invaluable insight into how we can apply Stoic principles in our own lives. It's important to remember that emulating wise people is not about copying them exactly. Instead, it's about observing how they navigate life's challenges with grace, resilience, and integrity. By doing so, you can learn from their example and apply their wisdom to your own unique circumstances. Think of it as learning from a mentor, whether they are someone from history, literature, or your own personal life. For example, Marcus Aurelius often admired the courage and perseverance of his predecessors. He reflected on their ability to maintain composure and clarity in the face of adversity, and he used their example to guide his own actions as emperor. In your own life, you can adopt a similar approach. Who demonstrates the qualities you wish to cultivate? How do they handle setbacks? How do they stay disciplined and true to their values? When choosing whom to emulate, look for individuals who embody the Stoic virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation. These could be historical figures like Marcus Aurelius, contemporaries who have mastered their craft, or even fictional characters who demonstrate resilience and ethical integrity. What matters is that their example provides you with a roadmap for how to live well and remain disciplined even in difficult times. By emulating wise individuals, you bridge the gap between abstract Stoic principles and real-world actions. It's one thing to understand the concept of wisdom or courage, but it's another to see those virtues in action. When we observe how others apply these virtues in their lives, we are inspired to do the same. But how do you put this into practice? Start by identifying one or two individuals you admire for their discipline and virtue. Reflect on what makes them stand out. What specific actions or traits make them worthy of emulation? Then ask yourself, how can I incorporate these qualities into my own life? For example, if you admire someone's ability to stay calm under pressure, practice cultivating that same composure in your daily interactions. Remember that emulation is an ongoing process. As you grow and evolve, so too will your understanding of the virtues you wish to cultivate. You may find new role models along the way, or you may deepen your appreciation for those you've always admired. Either way, the practice of emulation is a powerful tool for personal growth and self-discipline. With the guidance of wise individuals, we can navigate life's challenges with greater clarity and confidence. Now that we've explored the importance of emulation, let's turn to one final Stoic practice that will help you stay on track: the daily review. 10. Honestly, review your day. Reflect, learn, and improve. In Stoicism, self-discipline is not just about action, it's also about reflection. Marcus Aurelius believed that regularly reviewing one's thoughts and actions was essential for personal growth. The daily review is a cornerstone of Stoic practice, providing an opportunity to reflect on whether we have lived in alignment with our values. But how often do we pause to review our day with honesty and introspection? Ask yourself, How did I respond to challenges today? Did I act in accordance with my principles? Were there moments where I allowed distractions or emotions to take control? The daily review is not about self-criticism or dwelling on mistakes. It's about learning from each day's experiences and using that knowledge to improve. Marcus Aurelius often ended his day with quiet reflection, asking himself whether he had fulfilled his duties as both an emperor and a philosopher. This practice helped him stay grounded and aligned with the Stoic virtues of wisdom, courage, and justice. For us, the daily review serves the same purpose. It brings our attention back to our values and helps us refine our behavior. One of the most powerful aspects of the daily review is its ability to foster self-awareness. By reflecting on your actions, you become more conscious of your decisions and how they align with your long-term goals. This awareness strengthens your self-discipline as it allows you to correct course when necessary and avoid repeating mistakes. So, how can you implement this practice? Set aside a few minutes at the end of each day for reflection. Ask yourself some key questions. How did I handle the challenges that came my way today? Did I stay true to my values? Or did I let distractions and emotions guide me? What could I have done better? By answering these questions honestly, you create a feedback loop that helps you improve each day. Over time, the daily review becomes a habit that not only enhances your self-discipline, but also deepens your sense of purpose. Each day is an opportunity to grow and align more closely with the virtues you cherish. This Stoic habit builds resilience, self-awareness, and wisdom, making it easier to navigate the complexities of life with grace and integrity. As we come to the end of this journey through the 10 Stoic principles of self-discipline, remember that these teachings are not abstract concepts, but practical tools for living well. By applying these principles, whether it's finding your purpose, counting on yourself, showing up every day, or reflecting on your actions, you will cultivate the discipline necessary to thrive in today's world. Now that you've explored these 10 powerful Stoic principles for mastering self-discipline, it's time to take action. Remember, Stoicism is not about reading or thinking, it's about doing. Incorporate these practices into your daily life, and you'll see a transformation in how you approach challenges, stay focused, and cultivate inner peace. If you found value in this video, I encourage you to like, comment, and share it with others who are on their own journey of self-discipline. Let us know in the comments which Stoic principle resonates most with you or how you plan to apply these teachings in your life. By sharing your thoughts, you help build a community of individuals committed to living with purpose and discipline. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more insights on Stoicism, self-discipline, and personal growth. Together, we can continue to learn from the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius and other great Stoics, applying their timeless teachings to lead more fulfilling lives. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the heart of Stoicism. I wish you strength, resilience, and wisdom on your path ahead.